What is going on, everybody? It's Matt Marchese, also known as Islanders Daily. Your daily news from the four-time Stanley Cup champions, New York Islanders, and we're back here with another episode for today where we got a couple good topics to talk about, obviously. Day after the Islanders unfortunately lost to the Colorado Avalanche, losing their losing streak. I was kind of out of it yesterday, was pretty tired, was disappointed with the game, so I wasn't really energetic in that last video, but we're back. We're ready to go. We're ready to start talking about some things. Obviously, it was a tough loss. Just got, goalied by Wedgwood. But we talked about it yesterday. We're not really going to talk about it more today. But we are going to be talking a little bit about it, but not in the sense of the game, more so in the sense of the players and just my opinions on some things. I talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I want to go more in depth with it today. So first off on this episode is we got some Lou Lamoriello breaking news. Who would have thought that one would happen? So Lou Lamoriello apparently is still part of the New York Islanders as a special advisor to owner Scott Malkin. All right, that was certainly interesting news. He did say that he's not really doing anything in the hockey ops kind of side. He's not interfering with Matthew Darche or anything like that. It's Matthew Darche's team now. But Lou Lamoriello just has a role within the organization for the Islanders, but he doesn't go to any of the games or anything like that. He's just kind of contracted and has a role with the Islanders, which is good. I'm happy they didn't throw Lou to the curb. He did a lot of great things for the Islanders. He came in and established a winning culture that the Islanders needed. The Islanders were a team who was really on the outs, who were really struggling, and Lou came in with Barry Trotz, made that hiring. And they brought back winning culture to the Islanders. So that was really awesome. And I always respect Lou Lamoriello for that. I always respect Barry Trotz for that. But yeah, so it's good to see he still has a role. He said his original plan was only to be the general manager for the Islanders for 4 seasons before transitioning to someone else. The Islanders were never able to find somebody to really take that role until this offseason when Matthew Darche became available. And they quickly went on and made that decision to go with Matthew Darche as their general manager. And Lou Lamoriello said he helped transition, and that was it. He stepped out of the hockey side and went, straight to doing what he's doing now. I'm still not exactly 100% sure what it is, but it's something within the Islanders. And yeah, I really do wonder how Lou feels watching, the Islanders having beards now and doing all that social media stuff. I don't know if he's happy about that or if he's upset about that. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so Lou's still part of this team in some way or another, but he's not interfering anything on the hockey side, which I think a lot of fans are probably happy about. It's more so on the business side. He's kind of doing things now. And I think he said he doesn't even have an office in like the Islanders facilities anymore. So yeah, that was just an interesting thing that I thought I should talk about, that Lou Lamoriello somehow still has a role with the Islanders. I know once he was announced that Lou Lamoriello would no longer be the GM and Darche was hired, it just felt like he just disappeared off the face of the earth. Lou Lamoriello, he's still around working for the Islanders, and that guy lives or breathes hockey. I mean, I think Lou Lamoriello needs hockey at this point. He's an old guy. He's been doing this forever, and I think if he just needs to be involved in it, because any other person probably would be retired and happy, but for Lou, he just needs to stick with it. So good for him. Good for him that he still has a role there. Yeah, that's about it, but I'm glad that it is the new guys running the show in Darche and so on and so forth. So next thing we're going to be talking about here is kind of about the game yesterday. Not really, but we're going to be talking about Callum Ritchie and Maxim Shabanov. And the reason I'm going to be talking about these guys is they were on the fourth line with Casey Cizikas, and I thought Ritchie and Shabanov looked very solid with each other. Obviously, before Shabanov was playing, the line was Cizikas, Slipikov, and Ritchie, and it looked like Ritchie was the only one who could play on that line. Slipikov nor Cizikas could do anything, and it was really just Ritchie, so he did not have any chances to do anything playing with those guys. Shabanov comes in, adds a little skill, and Ritchie and Shabanov look great together. I mean, they generated the most opportunities I think I've seen from that fourth line all season. It had to be. Ritchie and Shabanov were creating offensive zone pressure. The fourth line couldn't do any offensive zone pressure for the previous games that we played. They finally were able to get some shots on net, get some pressure, and Ritchie Shabanov, they looked like they had good chemistry. They looked like they worked good together. And yeah, but the problem is it's still only 2 people on a line. You can't win like that. You can't, and I talked about it harshly yesterday. Cizikas, he's got to go. But I kind of want to dive into who I want to replace him. Obviously, I'm not throwing Siplikov in there. I just don't think he is talented enough to do it. I do think he should be playing over Cizikas, to say the least. But at the end of the day, I don't think Siplikov changes anything for that line. And I did say in the episode yesterday that I would like Joey Larson to come up and fill that role on that line. And some people may be wondering why Joey Larson and not a guy like Alex Jeffries or Matthew Maggio. And it comes down to this. Maggio this season has 1 goal and 10 assists for 11 points. And that's a solid start to the AHL season. But the reason I don't want Maggio is because I think Richie and Shabanov are already players kind of like Maggio. They're more pass first. Those are the players you see with Richie and Shabanov. They like to pass the puck. I think Shabanov does have a tendency to shoot it more often than Richie, but they're, in my opinion, more playmaker type players. And it's not going to work if you put in Maggio. That's 3 playmakers. Somebody's got to shoot. You have Alex Jeffries there, but I want to see Joey Larson there because I think he could add goal scoring that fourth line needs. In the AHL this year, he has 7 goals and 3 assists for the Bridgeport Islanders. Obviously is leading the team in goals for the Bridgeport Islanders. And he's doing a good job. He's scoring the goals. And I think putting someone there who can score goals, obviously I don't think he'd keep up that pace in the NHL by no means. But he can put the puck in the back of the net. And that's why I think him being on a line with Richie and Shabanov would help out tons. You have a guy who's younger in age. You have a guy who likes to shoot the puck instead of passing it, playing with 2 other guys who are younger. I mean, Shabanov's a little older, not old by any means, though. And those 2 guys like passing and playmaking more. If you add in Larson there, you're adding in somebody who likes to shoot. It's well complemented then. Now you got a well complemented fourth line who can probably garner more offensive opportunities and do more. I think that's what they have to do. I think Joey Larson needs to be the guy who gets the opportunity on this fourth line to make a name for himself. He just does. Because I can't take it no more. I can't take watching Cizikas anymore. I just can't. And I like the guy. I really do, but it's only so much that you can really take. His career is done. It is. It is. And I think Joey Larson is a guy who can come in and really give himself an opportunity. I just want to see that. That is what I want to see for Joey Larson. Will the Islanders give him that opportunity? I don't know. But I hope they do because I think that the goal scoring is there for Joey Larson to be good on that fourth line. I think that he adds to that fourth line of Richie and Shabanov, and he can play them more than 8 minutes a game because of Cizikas. So we'll just have to wait and see if the Islanders do decide to do that. I hope at some point, sooner rather than later, Joey Larson gets the call up to replace Cizikas on that fourth line. I really do because I think, he's better than Siplikov. I think he's better than Cizikas. Do I think he'll be great? No, but I think he adds to that fourth line, that young fourth line, and that new, younger kind of players that they're trying to generate here for the Islanders. So I think putting in Joey Larson is a necessity at least some point in the future. I want to say at the end of this road trip. I really do. I'll give Cizikas, 2 more games to see if he can somehow turn it around. I'm not crossing my fingers because I don't think he will. But I have given these final 2 games on the road, and then you got to make the choice. And I think Joey Larson is the player you want to call up from Bridgeport just due to the goal scoring. I think Maggio's a good player, but I don't think he complements Richie and Shabanov well compared to Joey Larson, who I think complements them much better. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about, Richie Shabanov and them. Obviously, I think that those guys need somebody like a Joey Larson on the team. And then we're going to look at the games here. Obviously, it's been a long road stretch. 7 straight games for the Islanders. They still have 2 to go. They were 4-0 in the first 4. I mean, that is already a successful road trip, in my opinion. Obviously, you want to add on to it, but now you're playing another good team in the Dallas Stars who are 12-4-3 on the year. And this is kind of where it comes into. The Islanders played very solid hockey teams here on the road, and they have done a magnificent job on the road against these teams. It's been super impressive. You had the Rangers, obviously they're not too good at home, but they played solid hockey this year. The Devils, who didn't lose a single game at home until you beat them, You then played Vegas, who's a solid team. You played Utah, who's on the come up, and you beat all 4 of them. You did. You were playing great hockey. Unfortunately, and you played great hockey again against Colorado. Unfortunately, you just ran into a hot goaltender in Scott Wedgwood and just couldn't win that game. But it's not due to the lack of effort, not due to the lack of talent, because they played great in that game. They played an equal game against the Colorado Avalanche. Unfortunately, it just didn't go their way that game, and that happens in hockey. Now you're playing another good team in the Dallas Stars. So it's exciting. It's exciting hockey, and the Islanders are making it entertaining and giving themselves chances to really, impress. And obviously, with another tough game against Dallas, this is going to be the opportunity to see where the Islanders stand and if they can truly keep competing with these teams. And then you play Detroit, who is another very good team this year. I mean, they're 11-7-1. They're in the playoffs, Detroit. It is a good hockey team after good hockey team. Obviously, the Eastern Conference is filled with solid hockey teams this year. But yeah, the Islanders, they have a chance. I mean, you're playing a good, like I said, Dallas Stars team, who I think Wyatt Johnson has 11 goals. Mikko Rantanen has 17 assists. They have a great goalie in Jake Ottinger. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but the Islanders have proved so far on this road trip that they can compete with any given team, and that's all you can ask for. And then finally, I'm going to be looking at the comments from last night's episode, and a lot of them was Cizikas and Mayfield. Those 2 guys are no bueno. And I already talked about Cizikas here. I talked about him a lot in the last episode. I'm not going to go more in depth with Cizikas. He's done. He's done. Cizikas is done. And Mayfield is a more interesting guy. Is Mayfield good? No. No, he's not. But he's not even playing with Schaefer anymore, so you can't even say like he can defend Schaefer. Because it's weird. I think Mayfield was actually playing solid hockey when Schaefer was playing with him. I think Schaefer was elevating him. Now that he's playing with Romanov, it's horrible. But who do you replace Scott Mayfield with? I think he's a good guy to have who can get into the fights, stand up for your team. He's good there, but that's about it. You could maybe go with Boquist, but I'd rather maybe go with someone different. The Islanders obviously have Cole McWard leading the team in points in the AHL. I don't think Cole McWard should be the guy you call up. I don't think he's bad, but is he a guy you want to call up? I wasn't too impressed with him in the preseason. I thought he really struggled. But what are you going to do? I mean, you got guys like Marshall Warren who had opportunity in the NHL this year, and I think he did a good job. I do think he did a good job. I mean, there were some struggles. He's a young guy, obviously. You have Isaiah George, who we saw some last season, and I thought he did good until he got that concussion. So there are guys you can give an opportunity to, and I really wonder if the Islanders will. I mean, Marshall Warren in the AHL this year, in 10 games played, he's 9 points. He's 2 points behind, other guys like Cole McWard and stuff who have played 15 games. So I do think if you want to move on from Mayfield, if you want to bench him, you go with Marshall Warren. I think they kind of are a similar player in a sense. I think Marshall Warren is a better Scott Mayfield, and I'd like to see Marshall Warren try and develop more in the NHL. Obviously, we saw him in the NHL this year. He was all right. Wasn't anything special. Wasn't anything bad. That's all you could ask for. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But I do agree with the comments. I'm a little more okay with Mayfield. I think that he can do some good, but he can also do some very bad. He can't just play mid. It's either he does solid or he does horrible, and it's through a whole game. He'll have one shift where he looks like a great defenseman, and then the next shift he looks like the worst defenseman you've ever laid eyes on. So it's just funny. It's just funny. But yeah, I do think I understand where you guys are coming from and the idea that maybe it's time to move on from Mayfield. But that's going to do it all for this episode. As always, leave your guys' comments down below, and let's go Islanders.